Welcome to the New York Outlook for Thursday, the 1st of February 2027. As usual, we'll start with the economic calendar. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of red folder news events before the New York session. From a GBP perspective, the red folder news is of extreme significance, as we can see, because it relates to the interest rates. And then subsequent to that, we've got Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking. This is a particularly volatile term, as it's unknown what he may or may not say, and it's a time when questions are asked, and depending on his communication, it can give signals, and as a result, result in uncharacteristic behavior in the price action. So, having said that, it's generally a bad idea to trade during these times, and as a result, I will resume my trading upon New York Open. Obviously, from these news events, there isn't really any key factor to suggest that GBPUSD should be long or short, and thus we'll have to implore the USD red folder news to then decide what our bias is and whether it supports the technical analysis narrative that we've built for the New York session, which we'll go through shortly. Ideally, based on my initial views into the technical analysis for the New York session, it's likely that the London lull low of the day has been put in, but I'll need to validate it either with New York red folder news being positive or the New York session actually validating um, the lull by breaking the London range. However, I will wait for the news, as I think it's a more significant determining factor of confirmation that the low of the day will hold, and thus I'll be happy to take any longs. For that to happen, I need the USD news to be negative for the USD and thus support long GBP USD. Having said all of that, I'll quickly jump into the chart, starting on the 4-hour as we usually do. What we can see, price actually continued to move downward after yesterday's Fed interest rate news, and we can see it actually achieved its substructure target. If you recall from a London Outlook or end of day review, what had happened is yesterday we wicked this stock, and as a result we validated this 4H primary leg. We then wicked that and had that interaction, which actually achieved its substructure objective, and now the objective for shorts have actually been validated, but we sit in a situation now where we cannot validate another 4H primary OB because there's no body breaks. The chalk serves a single purpose when it reacts from the protein unconfirmed. The first week validates that a primary leg is validated, but then the next week is a bit ambiguous, and in order to short again, we would need price to come up and reset the secondary leg that was built to achieve this objective. Based on that, my view is that the secondary leg associated with the interaction with the stock primary OB, if you recall from my London analysis, I've got this secondary leg marked up on the London analysis for this stock right here, and I said it's invalidated because we had a new secondary leg. However, now that the secondary leg for the short side has achieved its objective, there's no reason to believe the secondary short leg will continue, especially given that we have no body breaks to validate that it should, and thus we'll only trade long because this week essentially resets the secondary leg that was built here, and the latest secondary leg will thus be a long secondary leg, with the ultimate target being this high right here. This, sorry, not that, this substructure right here, as that's the last validated substructure point. However, having said all of that, that is why my bias for the New York session is primarily longs. So if we look on the 5-minute, what had happened, we actually got a jock right here on the 5-minute that indeed validates the secondary leg as such. Excuse me, that validates the secondary leg right here. Okay, so now what we need in the New York session is obviously for news alignment, or if it occurs before the news, that the New York session sweeps the London um, range, then we can take an entry and allow the allow this news session, sorry, these USD news releases to actually take us into our trade. Obviously, while they are red folder, they're not erratic news releases that result in extremely wide spreads and whatnot. So I'm happy to actually take these trades. And obviously, if it doesn't align with my narrative and I am tagged in, I'll try and get out break even. Alternatively, if I take a loss, then per my plan, and so be it. So that's pretty much my New York outlook. I'm purely long bias, and my bias will eliminate itself only if we body break the substructure low, in which case that would mean that this chalk primary pro-trend for HOB has failed, and thus there's no further reason to believe that that longs will play out, and it's likely that shorts are in control, and at which point a pro-trend primary unconfirmed OBE will be validated by a body break. So they have reason to actually continue shorting, and ideally, we're still in the uncertain scenario. While there's nothing left to the left that could pose a barrier, we still don't know what's going to happen in terms of market structure, and thus to play it safely, we'll continue to apply our uncertainty scenario rules in that we want for each backing a validated substructure and IRL towards our intended target. In terms of longs, we've got more than enough IRL. By IRL, I mean internal range liquidity, being all of these levels right here, and then this being the ultimate target. Other than that, I hope you have a good New York session. I hope you had a good London session, perhaps took some time to relax, and we'll chat again for the end of day review.